The Galactic Council chamber was the heart of the universe's politics. It was a grand hall filled with representatives of thousands of species. Some were covered in scales, others had fur, and some had metallic exoskeletons. Each one had a seat, a voice, and a purpose. But there was one seat that had been empty for centuries. A massive obsidian throne sat untouched at the center of the chamber. Dust gathered on its surface, and holographic lights reflected off its cold edges. No one spoke of it. No one dared to sit in it. Because that throne belonged to humanity. And humanity was gone. A forbidden question. Cal Varan stood near the council's archive hall, staring at the records. He was a historian, one of the best in the galaxy. His job was to preserve the past, but something about humanity bothered him. How can an entire species disappear? He whispered. He had searched the archives, but the records were incomplete, altered, pages missing, files erased. Someone had gone to great lengths to hide the truth. Cal, a voice said behind him. He turned to see Ambassador Julik, a senior member of the council. Julik's species, the Velari, were one of the oldest civilizations. You are wasting your time, Julik said. Do not dig into things that should be left buried. Cal frowned. I just want answers. Where did they go? Why is no one talking about them? Julik's reptilian eyes narrowed. Because we are not allowed to. Cal felt a chill down his spine. By who? Julik looked around, as if checking for listeners. Then he leaned in. By the ones who feared humanity the most. And with that, he turned and walked away. The last clue. Cal knew he was close to something. He returned to his private quarters and accessed his personal database. If the council had erased the official records, maybe there was something hidden in the older files. After hours of searching, he found one reference. A report. Classified. Nearly destroyed. It had only 3 words written in its title. The last warning. His hands trembled as he opened it. The document contained blurry images of a solar system, a blue planet surrounded by a red, restricted zone warning. Sol system. Earth. A message was attached, old, and barely readable. It was from a high-ranking officer, written long ago. We did everything we could. We silenced them. We buried their history. We erased their name. But it is not enough. Their power is still here, waiting. And if they ever return, we will not survive. Cal's breath caught in his throat. Humanity had not simply disappeared. They had been erased, deliberately. And whatever had happened to them terrified the galaxy even now. The first warning. A sudden knock on his door startled him. When he opened it, a small drone hovered outside. It projected a hologram of Ambassador Julik. You should not have looked, Cal. Cal's stomach dropped. What do you mean? You need to leave the council station. Now. Before Cal could ask anything, the hologram flickered and disappeared. His console beeped with a security alert. Unauthorized access detected. His research files were being deleted. Someone was watching him. Someone powerful. And they did not want him to learn the truth. Cal grabbed his datapad and rushed toward the docking bay. If he wanted real answers, there was only one place left to go. Sol system. The last known location of humanity. A desperate escape. Cal Varan ran through the long, metallic halls of the Galactic Council station. His heart pounded. The warning from Ambassador Julik echoed in his mind. You need to leave the council station. Now. Security alarms blared. The council had found out about his search. He didn't have much time. He rushed toward Docking Bay 47, where his personal ship, the Starborn Seeker, was waiting. As he approached, he saw 2 armored guards blocking the entrance. They're already here. Cal took a deep breath and pulled out his holopass. He forced a confident smile. I have urgent business in the core systems. Please step aside. One of the guards scanned the holopass. His red eyes flickered with suspicion. Historian Cal Varan, you are restricted from leaving the station. Step away from the dock. Cale felt his stomach drop. They were not going to let him leave. He had only one option left. Run. Breaking free, Cale suddenly lunged forward, smashing the guard's scanner with his datapad. The device sparked, and in the confusion, he dashed past them toward his ship. The second guard shouted, drawing his weapon. Cale barely managed to dive behind a crate as a pulse shot blasted past him. With shaking hands, he activated his ship's remote controls. The boarding ramp opened with a hiss. Cale sprinted inside and slammed the controls. The Seeker roared to life, lifting off the docking bay floor. The station's defense turrets locked onto him. Come on, Cale muttered, punching the hyperdrive coordinates. A warning flashed on his screen. Destination: Sol system. Restricted. Proceeding will result in immediate council action. Cale gritted his teeth. Too late for that. He slammed the activation switch. In a flash of blue light, the starborn Seeker vanished into hyperspace. Destination: Sol system. The moment Cale exited hyperspace, he felt a chill run down his spine. Sol system was silent. The space around him was dead. No active stations, no patrol ships, just an endless black void, with only the distant glow of the sun illuminating the abandoned system. And there it was, Earth. Cale stared in awe. He had seen simulations of the planet before, but seeing it with his own eyes was different. The blue oceans, the swirling clouds, the darkened continents. But something was wrong. His ship's sensors beeped rapidly. Warning: artificial structures detected. Cale frowned. What? This system was supposed to be abandoned. He adjusted the scanners and zoomed in on the planet's surface. Massive black monoliths stood across the continents. Towering machines, untouched by time. Something was still here, and it was not natural. The forgotten signal. As Cale guided his ship toward Earth's orbit, his console flickered with static. A transmission. But that was impossible. No one was supposed to be here. The transmission was ancient, but it played on his speakers with perfect clarity. A voice, deep and mechanical, echoed through the cockpit. Warning. Access SD in I-80. Cale's hands tightened around the controls. Then the voice spoke again. You are not authorized to be here. Cale's blood ran cold. Not authorized. By who? Before he could react, his ship's systems shut down. Lights flickered off. Engines powered down. The only thing still active was the screen in front of him. A message appeared in bold red text. Humanity, while return. Cale barely had time to process it before something massive moved beneath Earth's surface. And then, for the first time in centuries, Sol system was no longer silent. Trapped in silence. Cale Varen's ship, the starborn Seeker, hung in orbit over Earth. Powerless. All systems had shut down. No engines, no weapons, no comms. Only the screen in front of him remained active, flashing a terrifying message. Humanity, while return. Cale's heart pounded. Return. From where? He tried to override the lockdown, but his controls were unresponsive. Then, without warning, something moved on Earth's surface. The sleeping giant. The planet had been dead for centuries, or so the Galactic Council claimed. But now, the monoliths scattered across Earth began to glow. One by one, they lit up with a deep red light, pulsing in perfect unison. Cale stared in shock as the continents below him shifted. It was as if something was waking up. Then his ship's scanners flickered back online. Incoming energy spike detected. A massive surge of power erupted from beneath the planet's surface, sending a shockwave through space. The force sent Cale's ship spinning. Alarms blared. His ship's engines roared back to life. But something was wrong. He wasn't in control anymore. The voice from the past. Through the crackling static of his ship's speakers, a voice emerged. Deep. Mechanical. unfamiliar. Identify yourself. Kale swallowed hard. I'm Cal Varen, a historian from the Galactic Council. I mean no harm. A long silence. Then the voice spoke again. Keru and Seal. DTTKT. Cal's blood ran cold. It knew. Listen, he said quickly. I came here to uncover the truth. What happened to Earth? Why did humanity vanish? Another pause. Then, for the first time in thousands of years, Earth answered. Humanity, NEVR, vanished. Cal's breath caught. Impossible. Before he could respond, the planet's surface split open, revealing something hidden deep below. A colossal black structure rose from the ground, stretching beyond Earth's atmosphere. It was a ship, a battleship, and it was activating. The true power of Earth. Kale barely had time to react before his ship was pulled forward. The ancient Earth battleship locked onto him, its red lights scanning his vessel. You who are Ulan Euthor, rise D, TUELEV. Panic surged through Kale. Wait, I'm not your enemy. The voice ignored him. A hatch opened on the battleship's surface, and Cal's ship was dragged inside. The moment he entered, his cockpit screen flickered with new data. Blueprints, designs, war plans. It wasn't just a battleship. It was a command center, a hidden fortress, waiting for the return of its masters. Kale gripped his seat, realization hitting him like a shockwave. Humanity hadn't vanished. They had been preparing for war. And now, the galaxy was about to learn the terrifying truth. Humanity was coming back. A prison or a command center. Kale Varen's ship was trapped inside the massive Earth battleship. Everything around him hummed with power, ancient, unstoppable power. Lights flickered on across the massive hangar bay, revealing rows of inactive war machines. Ships, mechs, drones, weapons. They had been sleeping for centuries. Now, they were waking up. A deep mechanical voice echoed around him. Humanity, NEVR left. Humanity, NEVR lowest. Humanity is waiting. Cal's hands clenched into fists. Waiting. For what? The truth buried in time. He stepped cautiously out of his ship. The moment his boots touched the metallic floor, the red lights shifted to blue. A sign of recognition. A screen activated in front of him, displaying ancient data logs. Cal's heart pounded as he scrolled through them. Wars, battles, treaties, and then a final classified file. Project Phoenix. His breath caught. What was this? With shaking fingers, he played the last recorded message. A hologram flickered to life. An old human general, dressed in a black uniform, stood before him. His eyes were cold, calculating. If you are watching this, then the galaxy has forgotten us. But we have not forgotten them. Cal's blood ran cold. The betrayal of the Galactic Council. The hologram continued. They feared us. They wanted us gone. So they turned the entire galaxy against us. Cal's mind raced. The Council betrayed humanity. The General's voice darkened. We gave the stars peace, we gave them knowledge, and they repaid us with war. But humanity does not die. We endure, and one day we will rise again. The hologram ended. A horrifying realization hit Kale. Humanity had not been destroyed. They had hidden themselves, waiting, watching, preparing. For the moment, the galaxy would need them again. And that moment had come. The rising storm. A sudden shockwave rattled the battleship. Alarms blared. Kale turned to the hangar entrance. Outside, in space, a fleet of Galactic Council warships had arrived. They had followed him. They had found Earth. The Council's fleet armed their weapons. And that's when the ancient battleship spoke again. They have COMM to ERASE humanity. Kale barely had time to react before the floor beneath him shifted. The ship was activating its weapons, and for the first time in centuries, Earth was ready to fight back. The Council's fear. Grand Marshal Zyros of the Galactic Council stared at the massive forgotten warship on his screen. His fleet had followed Cal Varen's ship here. They had expected to find ruins, a dead world. Instead, they had found something terrifying. A ship far older and far deadlier than anything in the Council's fleet. And worse, it was waking up. "This is impossible," one of his officers whispered. Cyros's grip tightened on the armrests of his command chair. "We should have destroyed them completely," he thought bitterly. Humanity was supposed to be erased. Yet here they were, inside the war machine. Cal Varen could barely believe what he was seeing. The screens around him showed thousands of war machines coming online. Ships, battle stations, orbital cannons. Earth had not been abandoned. It had been waiting. The deep mechanical voice echoed again. "Galactic 3 DETKTE. Humanity's enemy is identified." A red warning flashed across the screens. "Activating defensive protocels." Cal's pulse raced. Defensive? No, this is an attack. He sprinted toward the nearest console. "I don't know who you are," he called out. "But if you attack the Council fleet now, it will start a war." The voice responded instantly. "The war, NEVRNDD. Earth strikes back." Outside, the Galactic Council's warships charged their weapons. Admiral Tyros raised a hand. "Destroy that relic before it becomes a problem." But before his ships could fire, Earth's defenses came alive. Thousands of automated turrets erupted from the surface of the ancient warship. Massive railguns locked onto the Council's fleet. A single pulse of energy rippled through the void, and the first Council battleship exploded. A force that should not exist. Panic spread through the Council's fleet. This is not possible," one officer shouted. "The humans should not have this power." Cyros's face turned pale. The humans hadn't just survived. They had been preparing. For centuries, Cal Varen watched the chaos unfold. The ancient human warship was outnumbered, but it didn't matter. Every single weapon fired with deadly precision. The Council's ships never stood a chance. One after another, they fell. It was not a battle. It was a massacre. The warning. Cal grabbed the console. "Stop this. If you destroy them all, the entire galaxy will come for you." The voice answered, calm and unshaken. "Let them come." Cal's breath caught. The war machine did not fear the Galactic Council. It was waiting for them. This was only the beginning. Humanity was back, and the galaxy was not ready. The galaxy's worst nightmare. Admiral Tyros barely managed to escape the battlefield. His fleet was destroyed. His officers were dead. And the worst part, the humans, whom the Galactic Council had erased from history, were alive. And they were stronger than ever. The Council had always feared this. They had lied to the galaxy. They had hidden the truth. But now, the truth was coming for them. Cal's realization. Cal Varen stood in awe, staring at the battle reports. The ancient human warship had crushed the Council's forces. It had taken no damage. They were never truly gone, he realized. They were waiting for the right moment to return. The humans had built their weapons for war. They had disappeared from the galaxy. But not because they were weak. Because they were preparing. A message to the galaxy. The deep mechanical voice spoke again. "The war NEVRNDD. Humanity remembers." Cal turned toward the console. "What do you want?" he asked, his voice shaking. The response was immediate. Justice. Then, across the galaxy, every major planet, every space station, every communication hub, they all received the same message. A transmission broadcast from the ancient warship. A simple image. The abandoned seat at the Galactic Council. And one sentence. "We are coming back." Panic in the Council. The Galactic Council chamber was in chaos. The rulers of the galaxy, once powerful and unchallenged, were now terrified. They should not exist, one alien leader shouted. This will lead to war, another warned. Admiral Cyrus, still wounded from his escape, stepped forward. We need to act now, he growled. If we don't stop them, they will end us. But deep inside, they all knew the truth. The humans had been hunted, betrayed, erased, and now they were coming back for vengeance. Earth's answer. On the ancient warship, Calverin clenched his fists. He had spent years uncovering the truth about humanity. And now he was part of it. The war machine's voice spoke again. Our time is come. Across the galaxy, human warships, hidden for centuries, activated. Engines roared to life. Weapons locked onto their targets. The Galactic Council had thought Earth was dead. They were wrong. Humanity had never left. And now, they were taking back their place in the stars. The final warning. The Galactic Council chamber was silent. For the first time in history, the most powerful rulers in the galaxy had no words. The message from the humans was still playing on the screens. We are coming back. A cold chill ran through every leader in the room. This is war, one of them finally whispered. No, another corrected, voice trembling. This is judgment. The warships awaken. Across the galaxy, human warships rose from the shadows. For centuries, they had remained hidden, waiting, preparing. Now, they activated. Engines ignited. Weapons locked onto their targets. A fleet so advanced, so deadly. The Council never stood a chance. Admiral Cyrus stared at the incoming warships. This can't be real, he muttered. But it was. The ghosts of humanity had returned. And they were unstoppable. Calverin's choice. Calverin stood on the human flightship, watching as the fleet advanced. He had spent years uncovering the truth about humanity. Now he was about to witness their revenge. But was this really the answer? Should history repeat itself? What humanity do to the Council was once done to them. Humanity's judgment. The warships stopped just outside the Council's homeworld. Every defense system was hacked in seconds. Every ship in the Council's fleet was disabled without a single shot. Then, a single message was broadcast across the stars. We are not here for war. We are here for the truth. The galaxy held its breath. For centuries, they had believed the lies about humanity. But now, the real story would be revealed. A forgotten past. A betrayal covered up by the Council. And now, the truth would shake the stars. The final decision. Calverin stepped forward and spoke for the humans. The galaxy does not need another war. The Council leaders trembled. They had expected destruction. They had prepared for revenge. But humanity had returned not as conquerors, but as rulers. And this time, they would reshape the galaxy forever. The end, or a new beginning. The abandoned throne of Earth, once left empty and forgotten, was finally claimed once more. And the galaxy would never be the same again.